A sunny summer afternoon in the heart of London's Docklands. Not the sort of place, perhaps, where you'd expect to find a group of young people enjoying their first taste of rowing. But they're all taking part in one of the many projects that are run throughout the country all year round to introduce newcomers to the sport. Believe it or not, well, you might believe it, none of them has ever been in a rowing boat before. Of course, the first problem they have to encounter is just how to get in.
Right, to actually get into the boat, you have to hold these together in one hand and keep it level as you do it. So if you hold those in your left hand, put your left foot in the middle, hold the rigger with your right hand, and then lower yourself down. That's fine. Once you're in there, get your feet in, and then flip that one open and do up the outside gate. Start off with just keep your legs down flat and just use your arms as a back. If you have your hands like that, with the handles the same height and the blades flat on the water, it'll stay level as I push you out. So as I push you out, just do that. So just have them on the water. Okay, if you bring your left hand into your stomach, turn your right one so it's square like that. Now try a few strokes with the right hand.
Basic instruction in rowing technique is essential, but you can forget classrooms and blackboards. You'll be on the water before you know it. With the teaching restricted to individuals and small groups, you'll be surprised how quickly you build up confidence. Although such obvious points as how to hold the oars and how to deal with a sliding seat become suddenly less obvious when it's you that's got to do it.
Take some strokes with square blades, your left hand in front of your right.
But the emphasis of the day is firmly set on fun. With the aim being to stay on the water, rowers don't spend much time actually in it. Nonetheless, it's important to be prepared, hence the capsize drill. Although for newcomers, this would normally be conducted in the safety of a swimming pool.
Lean out. Once you're in, you stand on the rigger to turn it back over. Push the blades across so they're out of the way. So make sure you hold onto the boat all the time. And swim round to the front and tow it in from there.
The boats themselves are very stable and virtually unsinkable, so actual capsizes are extremely rare. We practice purely for safety.
Okay, put the hand nose. Push the handles out in front of you. Push the handles in front of you. That's it. Yeah. That way, yeah. Okay. That's it. Watch the blade as it comes over. So make sure you keep one hand on the boat as you swim around it. Just swim around, you shouldn't swim under the boat, just swim around it. Okay? Remember that next time you do it.
With your narrow, lightweight boat lowered single-handed onto the water and your blades locked into the swivels, you're ready to cast off and row. Or rather, you're ready to start sculling, for the solo rowing boat is more properly called a scull. It's only really called rowing when you're handling just one oar as part of a team in either a pair, a 4, or an 8. But this is probably jumping the gun a little.
That's jolly good. Okay, relax again. Always remember, you'll never fall in with the blades flat in the water and at right angles to the boat. It's all dead simple. Now you just push the blades a little bit away from you and then wedge the handles together.
As your skills increase, and your stamina too, the training can become more rigorous, although you may notice a similarity between these exercises and those undertaken earlier on the fun course.
And sit down and relax. The prize goes to Andrew. Well done. Well done. Back stop. All 5 of you. 1 stroke. Ready? Go. Balance the boat. Balance it. 2 strokes. Steady hard. Attention. Set. Go. Drive in. That's it.
Of the sport that many people don't even know about is coastal sea rowing. This is quite different to negotiating inland waterways, which can seem tame by comparison. Here you have to cope with tides and currents and waves, not to mention the wash created by boats or such hazards as passing hovercraft. Even the act of getting into the boat is a wetter and more protracted business, unless you happen to be the coxswain. To withstand these rigours, the boats themselves must be broader and shorter than their freshwater counterparts, otherwise they would simply break up in the waves. Talk to any coastal rower and they'll tell you that there's simply nothing to compare with the exhilaration and sense of freedom that can be found only on the sea. Most major towns and cities are situated on or near rivers. They all have their own rowing clubs, and they're all eager for new members, especially beginners. Rowing need not simply be an end in itself. Touring rowing is a popular sport on the continent, and one that's fast growing here.
Don't worry about it.
If you fancy a holiday that's challenging and stimulating, and that gets you away from the noise and the hustle of the rat race, why not take to the water?
Let's see how this works now. We've got to stake out the... Now we need a...
Can you give me a...
It goes that way,
That's an
isn't
end,
it?
yeah.
Shaft.
You need the
Yep, there's one.
thing
I'll get it.
stick underneath.
Rowing is more than just a boat race.
It might be different.
We have one of those.
It's a sport that many people don't consider because they don't realise that it is a possibility. You don't have to be male, or rich, or even good at it to enjoy the sport. You can row on your own purely for pleasure, or as part of a team in competition. It's up to you. One thing is certain, however. Once you've experienced the frustration of knowing what to do, but never quite getting it right, the exhilaration of stretching both mind and body to their absolute limits, and then doing it all again. Once you've tasted the thrills of the sport, it'll stay with you for life.